We back on it, man. You know, the N-word thing, man. Just don't stop.
Yeah, man. A lot of stuff going on with this.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts during the week?
Oh man, I just I still stand on my same feelings that it just should not be vocabulary, everyday vocabulary.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like this. I feel like there's a time and a place for it. Same stance I had last week, man. There's a time and a place for it. I was thinking, I've gained a better understanding. You know what I'm saying? Because I've realized that talking with a few older people, I realized the impact that it has. You know what I'm saying, on them. And I feel like if something is offensive to somebody, again, you shouldn't, you should try to avoid offending somebody if you can. But again, I still feel like they can be educated to the point where some people can be educated to the point where it won't be offensive anymore. It's a lot of deep rooted hurt and stuff and experience behind that word. But if people are not willing to move forward, I'm not saying some people are like, oh, get over it or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying let's move forward. That's how I feel.
No, I agree with that. I think that it should be addressed or taught. Again, not taught, but though it should be explained to those people that are offended by it.
Right. Exactly.
In such a way so that they're not so offended by it, and still I'd leave it off my lips. Even if they kind of decided, okay, well I'm better with the word now. But
right.
Just the fact that they have such a deep-rooted problem with it, I think it should be addressed alone.
Yeah, I mean, so you think that the problem is a generational thing?
Ooh. You know what? I would start off by saying it's a generational thing, but then also I think it depends on your demographic.
Okay.
Because if you're down in some parts of Texas, you got Louisiana, some parts of the outskirts of ATL, all those places that you're still liable to get called those names by the wrong type of people.
Right. So
so therefore, even our generation still is really offended by it or have a problem with it.
Okay.
And yet they still use it though.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's in a different way. It's not the same way. It's, a lot of people would argue that the way that the word is used, what I'm saying, it makes a difference. Like I got a comment from Justin Artis and on the comment line, and this is what he had.
This is Justin Artis calling from Wilmington, North Carolina. What's up, JD? What's up, JS Young and the Christianxperience? I have a lot to say, but the comment joint just cut me off. I'm going to just say this. We need to be educated about the word. If they're trying to abolish this word, then there are a lot of other words that we can get rid of. And we also have to think about how the word is used. That's a big part of it. I'm not going to get offended if a white dude calls me a nigga. How if they call me a nigger, then I might get offended depending on how he said it. So it's a tough topic, but it's a good topic and needs to be discussed. So I will check in next week. Peace and love, fellas.
Now, I feel this point, and I think that it is sort of. I have that conflict within myself. I won't lie. I have that conflict within myself because I use the word amongst my people, my friends, whatever the case is. And I don't have a problem. But see, and my boy asked me. He said, would you have a problem if a white person calls you that? And I said, I probably would have a problem with it depending on, what they meant by it or whatever. But again, you know what I'm saying? Like, that comes from what was embedded in me. Even though I did the research, even though I know where the original word comes from, where it stemmed from and everything, it's been embedded in me so deep that I still would get offended depending on how it came at me, even though I know that, you know what I'm saying, even though I've been educated better, or I know, I can look, beyond, the surface of it. But at the same time, me using the word has been embedded in me also, in the endearment way, So it's kind of like everybody's kind of working individually with themselves, their own personal attitudes about it. You know what I mean? There's no real, I don't know, from a white person's perspective, they probably feel like it's a double standard. Like, hey, somebody be willing to, a black person be willing to punch me in the face for saying the word, but then they could use it amongst themselves. And sometimes it sounds to me like they're mad because they can't use it, but we can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do know what you're saying. As a matter of fact, I was looking up, I was looking at YouTube, and there was an incident. It was a news clipping.
Okay.
And there was an incident where the teacher, white guy, and the student was an African American, and and they were saying that that the teacher called the kid nigger.
Okay.
And hold on, before I go on, please, if you got any comments, matter of fact, I need to hear some comments. 347-637-2419.
Yeah, please let us know. Let us know what y'all feel about this.
Yeah, but the teacher, they interviewed the kid, and the kid explained that the teacher called him. Yes, the teacher called him a nigger. And when they interviewed the teacher, he didn't deny it. He said what happened was the kid had used the N-word first. And I don't know if he called him. I don't know if the kid called the teacher a nigger or what, but he said that's what the teacher said. He used the N-word first. And so, the teacher said he was, pretty much shocked and appalled by it. And so he just followed suit. And he said, well, then get away from the door, nigga. and this is on the news, So
Okay.
he didn't, like what you were saying, he probably felt like, well, hey, listen, if you feel comfortable enough to use it in front of me, then certainly, I shouldn't. Why would I have a problem, using
exactly.
it in front of you?
Exactly.
Get away from the door, nigga.
Now, what is? Do you feel like that's right? Do you feel like the teacher should have? Because we looking at it from our perspective, and mind you, I'm gonna play the other side right now, and I'm gonna ask this question: Is it okay for a white? I mean, if we're saying it right, is it okay? Like, if a white person decides they want to use it, you know what I'm saying? Is it okay? And I have to ask myself this question because, I have some discomfort with that. Even though, in reality, it really is sort of a double standard in a sense because of the history of the word. And what I told my friend was the reason why I would have a problem with it is because, if I knew the intent or the motive behind what they were saying, you know what I'm saying, then it would, that probably would make a difference. Because I know when another black person says it to me, like if one of my friends say it to me or something like that, then I know there's no ill intent behind it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But it's like, it's not the word that offends me. It's the intent behind the word.
Now, it's tricky to kind of answer your question on a teacher subject, but because really, I mean, sure, if the kid can sit there and use it, whether he called the teacher or whether he referred to himself,
right?
Whether he said, can a nigga hang around the door?
Yeah,
I don't know what was said on the kid's behalf, but yeah, why shouldn't the teacher be able to use it if he said it?
My problem with the teacher using it in that sense is the fact that, and people let us know your comments on this too, but my problem with the teacher is the fact that he used it, and he's a teacher, and that is not the setting for it. The student shouldn't have used it either to his teacher in that setting because of the fact that, that wasn't the time, that wasn't the place. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the setting for it. If he was talking to the teacher, you know what I mean? There's a certain level of of respect or professionalism. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just the word nigga that I would have had a problem with him using. There's other words, too, I would have had a problem with him using in a student-teacher situation. Understand what I'm saying?
I do. So, and it's almost like a stooping to the student's level.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not even the fact that he used that word. It's the fact that, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's the fact that, you wouldn't use a word like that in that sort of setting. Like, you wouldn't go to work and be in a board meeting and say that. You know what I'm saying? That's just not professional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and very true. You know what? Let me read a comment real quick.
Okay.
This is, why can't any of you get it through your heads that the comment made was wrong, regardless of the intent? It doesn't matter who's reporting the story. It's okay to be outraged by the story. It also doesn't matter how you define the word, how you spell it, or how you use it.
Uh-huh.
It jumped out at me that those of you who made some of the other comments are probably the same people who use it in the privacy of your own homes. I mean, I kind of agree with a lot of that comment. It doesn't matter. I mean, because you drop the ER and add the A, really is just a slang word of the ER.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're using the same word.
It's the same thing I said last week about hoe and whore. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's just
exactly.
But again, knowing where the word stems from, knowing what the word truly means, not what the cliche has become. You know what I'm saying? But what the word truly means, I mean, that should help somewhat with the people who get so offended about it, you know what I'm saying, or even the people who use it to be offensive. They're really just, you know what I mean, like the word wasn't created to be offensive. The original, form of the word wasn't created to be offensive. Just like, the word whore, was just what was a description of a prostitute. It's just another name for a prostitute. So it's like I said, certain people can get offended if, I would expect that a woman would get offended if she was being called a prostitute and she wasn't a prostitute. But for the prostitute to get offended for being called a prostitute is sort of crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. I want to play this clip from the Dr. Phil show where he was talking about the N-word. He had a few people up there, and they had, some of the things that they were saying was very interesting. So I just wanted to play this clip real quick. Hold on.
Have to do is to say, if the word is totally dead, it is dead in art as commerce, it is dead as in intimate speech, and it is dead in the lexicon. It should only be in a book for historical purposes, so that it did exist.
No one has ever sounded smarter from using the N-word. So why would you ever use it? Why would you announce yourself as a moron, white or black? It shouldn't be the N-word, it's the M-word. You're a moron. But there's something else. Here. There is no other word like it. You can call a white guy, white person, whatever you want. It has no impact because it doesn't have the power of the history behind it. We can spend time talking about whether to use a word or not, but that's not actually dealing with the underlying issues that are creating problems in this country. So if we can retire the word so we don't have to do another show like this, maybe the next show could be about real institutional racist and
that's my point. You don't have to call me that word and to treat me like that.
You're right back. Now, the last gentleman who was talking, I don't know how clear that audio was. I apologize for.
I can hear it fine.
Was it clear enough?
It was clear enough.
Okay. Now, the last gentleman that was speaking, that was Hill Harper. He's an author, actor, very, very smart, intelligent African-American dude, right? And he was saying something that I agree with. Now, he was saying about retiring the word, which I don't agree with personally, as you all know, right? But he did say, he was talking about the deeper issue, saying, like, if we did retire the word, maybe we could come back and talk about, the real underlying issues or the real problem, you know what I'm saying, the real racial issue. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the only difference is for me is I say, okay, skip retiring the word, because just like the lady I was speaking in the beginning, she was a comedian. I don't recall her name, but she was saying about it has to be dead in commerce. It has to be dead in, basically meaning anything that's using the word, you have to kill the word in all of these things. And to me, I feel like that's a waste of time, for a civil rights issue to try to bury a word that's not really going to die. It's only going to really die in public because people are going to say it in the privacy of their own homes. Anybody who's racist is going to still say it. The people, who feel the way I do, they're still going to say it. So really, you're putting a lot of time and effort into something when you really should be attacking the real issue, which is, like the real racial issues, about, people not being able to get jobs and things like that, or, any other type of prejudice, that comes up behind it. Like, let's deal with that issue. Let's deal with educating people in how to do things, you know what I'm saying, instead of trying to, like, just clean it up and make it look pretty.
I stand here at a fork in the road.
Okay.
Because, hold on, 347-637-2419.
And anybody who's calling in right now, if you guys want to say something, comment, press the number 1. We'll buzz you in. We got about 11 minutes left in the show. So if you guys want to say something, please give your opinions, whatever it is. Don't be scared on this topic. And let me just let y'all know, anybody's opinions and views are their opinions and views and do not reflect the Christian experience. But do not be afraid to say your views because, sometimes we need to be educated too. We're up here on the show, we're talking, but we need to know sometimes, maybe y'all can give us a wider perspective.
Exactly. And and right now, I'm kind of leaning towards you because retire the word.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm probably gonna. I will refrain from using it. From using it as much as I can. But like I said, when you get amongst your peers and so on and so forth, and generational thing, I feel comfortable amongst my peers using it. Even then, I don't use it often.
Right.
But yeah, I'm with you. Let's just attack the root.
Right.
The reason why you're so offended that that when I say this word, you just your hairs stand on your arm.
The real thing is that we can sit up here, we can talk about the N-word, right? And nobody really cares. Nobody's really paying attention to our ratings and how many people's listening to the show and how many people's commenting and what we're talking about, right? Now, let me do a show on uniting the black community financially. I'm going to hold seminars on, or I'm going to find people who can teach us how to save money and how to invest money and how to take control, of the neighborhood, financially, and how to, balance our bank accounts and all kinds of stuff like that, to where we can honestly have some real political power and some real, financial power as far as, businesses are concerned and corporations and stuff. Then you're going to see me either get shut down, I'll probably get a warning, or I'll catch a bullet in the head. Because most of the time, when people, like I said, when it was a race issue with the whole civil rights movement, and trust me, I'm not putting anybody down, who fought for civil rights or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that it has to be some sort of elevation. It has to be some sort of forward movement, and speaking spiritually, it has to be some sort of growth there in that sense too. Because if not, then we're just going to keep going over and over these issues for entertainment purposes. You know what I'm saying? And nothing's really going to get done. The moment Martin Luther King started talking about, financial stuff and taking control that kind of way and learning with money and everything, he caught a bullet. And the same thing with Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with a lot of other people too. They start to dismantle them. Like, the Black Panther Party and all of these people, all of these different civil rights people I probably never even heard of, people we never even got a chance to know about. and they start catching bullets in the head and people start going to jail, you know, as soon as they started getting power and people started getting behind them, when they start talking about real issues, but as long as we're complaining for scraps, and it's like, you know what I'm saying, like we shall overcome and that kind of thing, then they don't have a problem with that. Because when it's a race issue, it's no problem. When it becomes a class issue, you know what I'm saying, when we start talking about the poor and middle class and that kind of thing, then that's when the problems occur. And I believe that the whole middle class, poor class thing, because you got black people who are, you know, quote unquote middle class citizens looking down on other black people in that community, you know what I'm saying, who are in the poor class.
Very true. Very true.
And this goes on around the world. It's not just with black people. It's a whole class issue. And I ain't trying to, you know, preach or give no black history or nothing, but I'm just saying that we got to wake up, yo, and stop falling for the okie doke. We have to stop falling for the okie doke. And we cannot sing and do this stuff on rooftops telling everybody, because people be catching bullets in the head. And ain't nobody else strong enough or brave enough to continue to fight. After the first person catches a bullet, everybody else scatters around. And then they start getting little stuff about, you know, little civil rights, like racial stuff, and they stick with racial issues.
Yeah. You're right. You know
what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy. You know, again, 347-637-2419, man. But, you know, that's what it is. And nobody wants to really talk about that kind of stuff. Nobody really has anything to say. People are intimidated. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, how we going to get over this issue? And we talking about, you know, and I'm guilty because we doing the show right now on the N-word.
I mean, and, you know, at the end of the day, you know, in all seriousness, you're not going to be able to abolish the word.
Yeah.
There's not, I don't know, in my research, I don't know of a word that has ever just been just abolished, you know, just taken out of the society's, you know, vocabulary.
Right.
And once you know the word, if you want to use the word, you're going to use the word.
Right.
You know, so just, you know, I guess attacking it at the root, why is it such an issue? You know, and then going from there. But I mean, still, I'm not comfortable with. I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with it. I'm not comfortable if I walk into work tomorrow and my boss says, "Hey, what's up, nigga?"
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you would have a problem with that. I would have a problem with that. But
and he means it, and having him mean it as a term of endearment.
Right. But
and I'm sorry. No. Here's your check, nigga. No.
Yeah. I feel you on that. But that's because I don't know. You know, that's my crossroad right there. Because and it is sort of a double standard that, you know, this is the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even, I couldn't see myself engaging. I could not see myself engaging in that kind of that sort of conversation. You know what I'm saying? And there's like a bunch of, you know, Caucasian people just calling themselves cracker, you know, and I'm just going to join in the fun. I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just know to stay out of that. We have somebody who wants to say a comment. Oh, okay.
We just lost.
Want to say a comment? They just left out. All right. Well, anyway, you ain't got to be scared. Y'all can talk to us.
We got 4 minutes. We got 4 minutes. If caller, if you can get back through, you know, we'll put you in the air if we can put you on the air if we can get you.
Yeah, we'll let you in.
Yeah.
But
that's just how I feel. But, you know, at the same time, you know, I'm going to and take take that call.
Okay. Caller, you are on the air. 601-917-601.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Christian.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay.
Okay, I just have a quick comment on the N-word.
Okay.
I meant to call last week, but I couldn't. By the way, my name is Christina.
Hi.
And I'm okay. I just want to say, sometimes the N-word can be used negatively, but I had a joke because I work with this Chinese guy, and that's what I call him. You know, I go, hey, nigga. We as a joke, we say it.
Okay.
I say it to him, but of course he knows that it's a joke because he's Chinese, so he's not a black guy. But if he's comfortable me saying it, and, you know, as a joke, I'll say it. It's not meant to be mean. But there are guys at my job who call each other that as if they're calling each other sir or what's up, son, however they call it, and they are absolutely fine with it. But it can cause fights or arguments. I mean, I had a friend who was murdered a couple of weeks ago. We don't know the reason, but, you know, he was a black guy, and we don't know if that was the reason, if it was a fight because of that name, that word, I don't know. Okay. But I say it out of fun with my Chinese coworker. I don't go around saying it to the black guys at my job. It's just to my Chinese coworker, but you know, it's out of fun.
Let me ask you a question. If your friend, does your friend call you that back?
No, but sometimes he calls me the B word, and we joke about it.
Okay.
So which is not good.
Right,
not good.
So now, if a white person was to call you that word, would you get offended? The way in the endearment way, not in the.
If we would joke, if we had that joke back and forth, that relationship, no, I wouldn't be offended. But if he was off the bat just calling me that, yeah, I'll be offended. Like I said, my Chinese, we worked for 15 years together, so we know each other. So for me to call him that and for him to call me that, we laugh about it. But we don't do it outside of work. It's only at work and not outside of that.
So it depends on the relationship.
Yeah, it's a very good relationship. And we don't do it in front of people, other coworkers. It's just amongst ourselves, you know?
Okay. Well, thank you, Christina, for calling in.
Yes, thank you,
Christina. Okay, God bless.
All right.
All right, all right. You too. Bye-bye.
There you have it.
Then it depends on the relationship, I guess, then.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, and they didn't, you know, they weren't on the bus. You know, she walks on the bus, he's on the other end of the bus.
Right.
And, hey, nigga.
Right. It depends on, I guess, you know, time and place, like I said. You know. Thank you guys for calling. We're running out of time. Any last words, Jeff?
You know, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Well, we got a song for the day. I chose this one because, it just kind of shows the generation. Hey, thank you guys for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And, you know, if you were blessed by what you saw and heard and you want to be a blessing, all you got to do is send us anything. Every donation and every gift that you send is appreciated. So send it to Cash App Christianxperience. That's hashtag Christianxperience, all right? And we'll see you next episode. Peace. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing. All right. I can use that.